listen to your real estate agent as long as your real estate agent knows what they're talking about.
Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shear of MSA Mortgage.
The premise of starting the show was to be Mythbusters and sort of take out some of the fallacies out of the process.
And legal professional Ali Alavi of Alavi Braza PC.
It's a transaction for us, but it's someone's home for them. It's someone that has saved up all of their money, who has been renting for so long. It's the American dream. It's all of that.
The show that brings you the most up-to-date news in the housing market, week after week.
Is you can essentially tighten the timelines so that in the eyes of a seller, it's going to look as though it's cash. What I miss in Heights, I make up in person. Why aren't you talking to me today?
Yeah, you just get me fired up.
I do. I want to get you fired up.
Good thing my wife doesn't listen to the show or she'll have a conversation with
Don't
me.
be jealous. Don't be a hater. There's no need to be a hater.
Here are your hosts, Rick Shear and Ali Alavi.
Tell us a little bit about your business, how long you've been doing it, and what markets do you cover?
Well, I've been a realtor for about 11 years now.
Oh, that's it, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
I started at a mom and pop shop in Jamaica Plain, and then I moved over to another company for about 7 years, and I've been with Keller for the last almost four years now.
You know, Keller Williams has a tremendous brand. It's a very, very well recognized brand. Mm-hmm. What is it about Keller Williams that sort of drew you to them, and what sort of distinguishes? Because there's so many brands, so many different companies out there.
Well, for me, I was very happy in my other company, but what I discovered about Keller Williams is they really encourage the agents to build their business how they want to build it.
Interesting.
To be their brand. So instead of looking at it like a job, at Keller, you're really encouraged to look at your business as your business, and you're the CEO of your own company.
So talk to us a little bit about what's right sizing really mean?
So right sizing is a term I like to use. Most people, as you mentioned, use the word downsizing. Downsizing, you think it's getting smaller. It sort of has a slightly negative connotation for me. So right sizing is, in my opinion, what's right for you at that point in your life. So it very well could be you're moving into a larger home. Maybe you're moving into the home where your kids are now, so you can be closer to your family, to be closer to your grandkids.
Hey, Ma, he didn't really mean that, by the way. That only happens sometimes.
That only happens very rarely. Maybe you're moving into an independent or assisted living community. So it's the right move, whatever that means to the individual person.
That there is challenges associated with having to go in a senior individual's home and be emotional, be respectful of the fact that they have memories everywhere.
Yeah.
How do you consult these clients in terms of what the fair market value is, the amount of improvement that property may need?
Well, that's a great question, and that brings up a very important point. One of the reasons I'm an SRES is because in order to be a successful seniors real estate specialist, you do need to have a certain skill set and a certain personality. Josh is a great agent. He does a ton of business. But like so many other agents who are, I say, go, very fast-paced. It's just, I want this listed, I want to sell it. My skill set's a little bit different. I really like to get to know my clients. I like to hear their stories and understand where they're coming from. And as a good seniors real estate specialist, you really have to be a good listener and very patient.
Sure.
And so to answer your question, when we first take a consult with a potential client, we want to know, what's going on, what their situation is. Are they looking to move right away? Are they just starting the process and maybe they're a year or two away? It's always what's in the best interest of the client.
Tell us a little bit about you and how long have you been doing real estate? And let's really dive deep into some of the specialties that you've sort of carved for yourself.
Absolutely. Doing it for about 13 years. So
very nice.
Time flies.
It does, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And when you're having fun, you love what you do.
Love what I do.
I know, I can tell. So excited. So it's 13 years in the business, and you grew up in, I think, Davis Square, right?
Grew up in Davis Square in Somerville.
Yeah.
So this is my hood.
And really, your niche areas are Somerville, Boston, Cambridge. I mean, your office is out of Cambridge, but those are your really three niche towns.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll do greater Boston in general, but mostly Boston, Somerville, Cambridge is really the sweet spot.
And you'll work with all types of buyers, first-time home buyers, all the way to multi-billion-dollar buyers, right?
Absolutely.
But what I think is pretty unique is you're like right on your business card, unique home specialist. Tell us a little bit about what does that mean? What's a unique home?
I think it's a designation that you've coined for yourself based on your experience.
Absolutely. Totally created it. No, anything that's out of the box, anything that your colleague at work or somebody can never say, I have the same thing. Oh, my living room looks just like yours. Anything that's really out of the box, one of a kind, just not something you can't compare.
I mean, some of the examples of these things are converted churches, and what else? Give us some more examples of how unique of properties have you been involved with?
Converted churches, converted firehouses, converted mansion, some really ultra-modern homes on the cover of Dwell magazine. It's a pretty popular, modern home magazine.
Right.
To an old armored car garage that they refashioned into kind of a standalone home.
How did you fall into this particular specialty?
Great question. Maybe 11 years ago, was showing a really wonderful loft in Porter Square in Cambridge. This buyer really, really liked it. It wasn't exactly what he wanted. So his buddy was an architect. He said, Paul, find me a building like this. He points across the way. Big old brick building. Kind of funky. Old warehouse. Find me one of those. I'll convert it. My friend will get a unit. You can sell the rest for me. How does that sound?
Interesting.
Sounds amazing. I went and I scoured about a 5-mile radius of Boston. Every firehouse, old convenience store, bank, church that I could possibly find, because this guy's going to buy this building from me.
Right.
Found him a number of amazing options, of which he bought none of them. But I then knew the owners of all kinds of ridiculously amazing property all throughout Greater Boston. So that was kind of my first kind of foray into it, and then I ended up selling a firehouse in East Boston. That was the first $1 million condo ever sold in East Boston.
Oh, I wanted to sort of invite both Adam Shamus and Paul Campano back in this segment and really talk about some of the misconceptions by consumers. What are some of the disadvantages that these individuals that may think that they can do this on their own are they going to be faced with? So I want to pose this question to you, Adam. What do you think?
I think people don't realize how much work goes into listing a home with the marketing, the open houses, and then my experience working or speaking with people who have tried to sell their homes on their own is, people who live in their homes, they're very proud of their homes. They take great pride in them. They put a lot of work and time and effort. And so hearing feedback from potential buyers, oh, I don't like this room or whatnot, it can be very emotional for anyone to sell a home.
Sure.
But certainly, people can get upset if they're trying to sell their home on their own and let emotion get into the process, which you can't allow.
How often do you come across people that have tried or attempted in selling their home and felt that they failed, and they come to you and you come and save the day?
Many times, but I think with the FSBOs nowadays, let's be honest, there are a lot of buyers out there. There's a high demand. There's no doubt about that. So can you go out there, put your listing on some random website and get some person to come through and say they want to buy it? Possibly. Are they a real buyer? Who knows?
Right.
And if they actually go through the process, then the bank's involved. I mean, rates are low nowadays. Most people are getting mortgages. It just makes sense. But then the appraisal comes in.
Right.
If this appraiser, who you don't know who this person may be, comes in randomly from 50 miles away and decides your home, really is worth $100,000 less, are you ready to combat that? Are you ready to really manage the process with the appraiser to make sure that you're getting, the fair value for your property? That I find in this market is the biggest pitfall. It's a strong market. There are certainly buyers out there. But can you really manage that process from beginning to end and really maximize your asset?